Y'all knows BC and David Clarence don't make sense. Now on the Don Lennon show, he interviewed Candace Owens, and I can't sit up here and lie. Candace Owens ground, and I don't like people that deny the Bible. I don't like people that try to come out with their own private interpretation. Just listen to this.
Okay, here's something interesting that we may have some common ground on. Okay, but what do you think about same-sex marriage?
It's a sin.
You think it's a sin? So you think I'm sinful?
What's that?
You think I'm sinful because I'm married to a man?
Yeah.
Yes,
you do.
Yes, you're saying
that's what I'm talking about.
Relationship. I actually don't believe marriage can be between two men. So I don't.
But you understand, though, Candace, and maybe we're not going to agree.
I have to say that Candace stood her ground. She didn't waver. She didn't allow somebody to back her into a corner to question her own judgment. That's real. A lot of people will fold because they just want to be in agreement with people so bad that they'll deny the truth. Don't be delusional.
On this now, I thought we would. Do you understand, though, that the same Bible verses and the same scriptures that are used to call same-sex marriage sinful are used to call interracial marriage sinful as well? And so there are people who would say that you are in a sinful marriage.
Can you tell me which verse it is that would make people say?
The thing is that it's actually not there, and that people.
Let me just stop right there. Now, when you go into Numbers, I think it's 36:3. It talks about how if you do marry, make sure you marry someone from your tribe. And the reason why that the Most High wanted to implement that is because a lot of them started to marry individuals outside of the clan, and they started worshiping the gods of those people that they married. So the Most High wanted to make sure that they remain spiritual, that they remain obedient. And that's why other nations, as in heathen nations, worship other gods, and they had different ways and practices that would literally put the Israelites in captivity of the mind and separate them from God, therefore allowing them to get into the fornications and the practices and the perverted aspects of those nations. That's why he did that. But he tried to back into a corner with that.
People twist the Bible verses. That's my whole point. Thank you for proving that, because it doesn't say that. And it's actually, you're going to say Leviticus or whatever. It's not actually what Leviticus says, but go on.
He said it's not actually what Leviticus said, all the while not saying what Leviticus says. What is this guy? What is he talking about? What is he talking about? He said that's not what Leviticus says. Let's see what Leviticus says, because he clearly is saying that that's not what Leviticus says. That's not what Leviticus says. Well, let's see what Leviticus says. Where it tells you in Leviticus 18:22, thou shalt not lie with mankind as with womankind. It is an abomination. Where's the confusion with that? Let's go to Leviticus 20:13. If a man also lie with mankind as he lied with a woman, both of them have committed an abomination. They should surely be put to death. Their blood should be upon them. What is the confusion? It's not in the Bible. Why do you deny the power thereof? Having a form of godliness, right? Making yourself appear as if you're righteous. See, a lot of them profess with their mouth that they know God, but all the while they deny him. This is just a false practice. This is bullshit. That's why I don't deal with motherfuckers like this. This is just disturbing. This is disturbing. I don't like one thing more.
That these conversations matter. These are not just talking points. This is not somebody talking in a news hit. This is going to have real world implications for my children.
Listen,
and giving you one example of that would be the dawn of the trans indoctrination that you and I did not go through in school. That to me is a very severe thing. I think it's demonic, quite literally demonic, as in worshiping Baphomet. It goes back a long time. And I'm going to use my platform.
You said worshiping what? I couldn't hear you. Sorry.
Baphomet.
Okay, got it.
And the reason why she mentioned Baphomet, because if you understand that statue, if you ever looked at a Baphomet, whatever you want to call it, statue, you will notice how male and a female at the same time. If you think about Asherah, when it came to Estar or Astaroth, you'll notice that her priests what was written in the temples. She says that I make a man a woman and I make a woman a man. So it was all about transformation. Remember, for Satan transforms himself into an angel of light. So a lot of this is demonic. It's all coming from a place. If you understand the root, then you'll be able to track it and trace it and realize that, you know what, this is the same shit that was going on back then. So that's why I don't understand why people don't understand the implications. Right?
Well,
Mm-hmm.
here's the thing. I don't know about. I'm not sure I would call it an indoctrination. I do believe that it's legitimate to say that you have questions about it because it's a lot to take in. I wouldn't necessarily call it an indoctrination. And where I grew up, when I grew up, there were definitely trans people. And
Oh, we know, you know.
maybe there wasn't an awareness of it in the world or the country at large. But I remember trans people growing up. I remember people who were cross-dressers growing up. My girlfriend's brother was a transvestite growing up. So there were definitely people who were out there who were part of the trans community. And I remember the threats that Chris got from my girlfriend's brother. I remember people on the street throwing things at him and threatening him. So I'm not sure it's an indoctrination. I think it's just maybe an awareness of things that happen in society. And that doesn't mean that the pendulum doesn't swing too far sometimes, but I'm not sure I would call it an indoctrination. That's all I have to say about that.
Well, when I was in school, I learned that it was a mental disorder. I know that's changed, but it was in the DSM-5 as a mental disorder. And I accept that there are mental disorders, and people that are suffering from mental disorders should never be treated by people harassing them or people yelling at them or calling them names.
I like the way that she swung that back to truth, because in the DSM-5, it was considered a mental disorder. And they took it out due to the feminist movement and a lot of different aspects that they wanted to divide the household, which is what's going on now. There's a lot of unmarital sex and a lot of adultery, fornication, all that crap going on. Why a lot of demons I want to rampant soul ties. A lot of things going in to spiritual warfare. But let me tell you something. Bringing awareness to something is the same as exposure. If my kids in school and they're literally just supposed to be learning social studies, language arts, history, mathematics, all that, why are you bringing a book in that says why Tommy feels different and why he wants to be called Tammy? Because bringing awareness is introduction. It's introducing somebody to something. That's the sad part. That's the hoodwink. That's the trick. That's the underlining psychological, you could say, reverse that they're trying to pull on you, the reverse Uno card. It's like, oh yeah, we're just bringing awareness for this individual. No, you're not. You're bringing awareness because you're trying to introduce and you're trying to see if you can spark a feeling or force a feeling and socially engineer someone to think the same way. Remember, just like the angry mob back then, one person starts saying, just kill him, everybody else start joining in. This is sad, man, but I do like the fact that she stood firm. There's a lot of other aspects because she is in interracial marriage, so she does have a little biasness to her, but I still love the fact that she didn't allow herself to fall victim to somebody trying to get her to get off her square. But that's real. I appreciate it.